sports fans and card enthusiasts, welcome to the channel. It's a little bit different format today as I'm here. This is me, Andy from Blast from the Past Vintage Cards and Pack Rips, and I'm here with my friend Justin Dickerson. Justin is he's a card reseller and a card collecting enthusiast, and he is currently the treasurer of the Oregon Sports Collectors Association, which is putting on the Park Row Show. I'm also a new recent board member for the Oregon Sports Collector Association, or OSCA, as well. He's a Yankees fan, as you notice. Everybody knows I'm a Mets fan, but we're putting aside our differences today because Justin has been so kind and gracious over the past few weeks to kind of help me figure out one of the things that's most scary in the card collecting community, and that is the card grading submission process. So, what we're going to do here today is we're going to walk through the process and some of the things that Justin has taught me, kind of show you the process of what I'm going to do, and we're going to talk a little bit about 25 cards that I'm going to submit to SGC and how we're going to do that. We're going to do that right now. So like I said, folks, we're going to go through the card submission process today. We're going to do it with SGC, but we're going to do it in a kind of a little unique way because Justin has walked me through a process that will hopefully make this a whole hell of a lot easier than the typical submission processes out there. Although, as I've learned, the submission process itself is not that challenging. It's not anything that should be feared. Right, Justin?
That's correct. It's pretty easy.
Pretty easy. All right, so what we're going to do today is we're going to talk a little bit about, what we're going to do, the process. I'm going to show you 25 cards that I've selected to get graded as well, and we're going to go from there. So let's start off, I think, first with, tell us a little bit about the process of card grading in general. Why is it important to do? Whether you're a dealer, a collector, why is this a good thing to do?
A lot of it depends on personal, preference. A lot of people like their cards raw, not slabbed, not graded, which is fine. I think the grading process is good. It authenticates the card, kind of gives it a more justifiable value, easier to look up comps and things like that. So it could be beneficial for selling generally because it's pretty inexpensive to do. It's pretty quick. But it also can be just an added cost to the card. So you don't want to grade everything, but there's certainly cards you do want to get looked at.
So what's the value as a collector? Let's say you're not going to sell many cards. You want to obviously have your cards that are, important to you and your personal collection. Why is grading important then?
I think maybe keeping them safe is one thing that they look marvelous in a tux, I'd say, especially in the SGC tux. Some people prefer the PSA slabs, which are fantastic too. I think another reason is maybe if something unlikely were to happen and you were to pass, or something were to happen to you and your collection needed to be moved on, it would just be a lot easier for an inexperienced person to deal with cards that have been graded. Just the whole process would be simplified with them in a slab as opposed to raw.
That's a really, really good point too. So, for me, one of the decisions in grading the cards I'm mostly a vintage collector. So a lot of the cards that I have are vintage. Now, there's a difference in, things that I've learned over the years of between, you could obviously submit vintage cards to PSA. You could submit vintage cards to SGC or any of the card graders out there. But there's a real benefit that I see anyway in submitting vintage cards to SGC. First off, Justin mentioned the tux. The tux is the kind of black background. It's a really sharp looking background for the slabs that they're in. And I generally feel that the card grading company SGC values vintage a little bit better. They understand vintage a little bit better, and they grade it a little bit better. PSA is wonderful for all things modern cards. They've gotten a little bit more strict on the grading over the years for both modern and vintage. But Justin, in your mind, what is the difference between SGC and PSA? Is that it, or are there more benefits and advantages?
There's definitely a bit of a value tick for PSA slabbed cards. You'll see a PSA graded 2, for example, compared to an SGC graded 2 in the same card, and the PSA is generally going to be sold for a little more than the SGC. I think the gap's getting a little closer, but that's kind of where it stands right now. Another main thing is the timing. PSA is, I believe they're pretty backed up. Their turnaround time, I'm not sure what it is now, but I know it's been months in the past, whereas SGC is closer to a couple weeks. So if you're looking at flipping cards, that timing could have a big impact on where you want to sub. If you don't mind the turnaround time, then maybe SGC is the way to go, or PSA is the way to go, because you're going to get a little more value when it's slabbed. But if you're flipping, it's hard to justify waiting that long for a card to come back when you could get it slabbed, and the price is going to be very close to similar in 2 weeks. So those are probably the two main differences that come to mind.
That makes total sense to me. Now, because like I said, I am a vintage collector, I have chosen to go with SGC, but I'm not going to submit directly because Justin kind of introduced me to kind of a different way, and I'll let him talk about it. And as he's talking about this, I'll throw some things up on the screen. We're going to go through a kind of a third party that is right next door to SGC's grading facility in Florida, and the company is called Boca Raton SGC Card Grading Submissions. Justin, tell me a little bit about them and why you've gone through them and what experiences you've had.
I had a good friend recommend them to me. I'd actually subbed through SGC directly a couple of times, and the process was simple, and the turnaround was great, and the pricing was fine. But in going through a subgroup, I was able to get better pricing. You always get bulk pricing no matter how many cards you submit, which if you're looking at under 50, I believe it's $25 a card directly, and through the subgroup it's only going to be $19 a card max. So that was a huge benefit. And then also the turnaround time, sending them to Boca, they are able to walk them over to SGC, and then when they're ready, they walk over and pick them up and then ship them back. So I know on the East Coast, it's like 10 days door to door. Here on the West Coast, it's closer to 14 days, but that turnaround time was much faster than when I subbed directly to SGC. So going through the subgroup was a lot faster. And then I think they get some benefits too, because they are such great customers of SGC. When things go wrong, they have a little better customer service than you would or I would. They have a better rapport. There were some other benefits too. Like I sent in a card that didn't get graded and was sent back to me, and I ate the cost. SGC kept the money, which was fine, and they explained that to me before. And then I did the same thing through the Boca group and was given a credit. So the next card I subbed was, I used the credit. And so that was another benefit I think they probably get because of their customer, how much business they do with them. So it's just another reason for me to go through them rather than myself. And the benefits were such that it just wasn't even a comparison. I always go through Boca now.
So a lot of people might ask, oh, well, how does Boca make its money then? Why submit through a third party that is just going to walk it over? What's the benefit there for them on their side?
That's a great question. I think the benefit is probably in that they get an even better price than we get. So we're paying the $19 bulk price. They're probably getting something like $16 when they sub, just because they sub thousands and thousands of cards compared to the average Joe who's going to send in maybe a few hundred max. In our case, less than 50. Yep. Usually I'm less than 50 cards. So they probably get, some kind of benefit, some kind of dollar amount for every card they sub. And, when you sub thousands a month, that can add up pretty quickly, and they turn it into a business. And they, a lot of it's based on customer service because I think there are other services out there that do the same thing. And you can also go directly through SGC as an option. And it's scary sending your cards out to anybody. So you kind of usually rather just send it to the company directly. But I recommend using them, and the benefits are so great.
And it's an easy process too. We'll throw up on the screen right now here for you. This is the submission form, and it's just fairly straightforward. You have your basic contact information, the number of cards you're going to do at the price point, and you can see you'll have the total that you can add over there. So it's basically $19 times, I think I'm doing 25 cards, so that's around $475, I think, is what we're looking at for me. And then you'll see here, this is the area the next photo here I'm showing is where where you kind of fill in all your card details. So the card number, the name, the estimated raw value you'll see there on the far right hand side, some other things there. So it's super simple to fill out. And then here's just a look at a filled out form from my perspective. These are the cards. You get a sneak peek at what cards we're going to show you here in a little bit, but this basically is what my form looks like for submitting it. So I'll throw those things up on the screen there for you guys to take a look at. But yeah, this process is super simple. It's put me at ease for a lot of things grading. But what are the other things you have to think about? Obviously, I have cards right now in like one-touch holders. I'm going to have to transfer those into penny sleeves and the kind of semi-rigid holders as well, because that's the submission process. And then we'll put all those together in like a little brick of cardboard. Like a lot of people, like you might get cards delivered to you from eBay or from other folks like that. And it just protects the cards and allows them to, all have a kind of similar format. But what are some other things that you should consider when submitting cards, either through the Boca group or through just regular submission processes yourself? There's things like insurance, other things to consider. What are some things that you need to know about?
Yeah, insurance is definitely one, shipping them there. One thing I would mention about the submission form, there is a lot of guidance on there, a lot of instructions. You can also order like penny sleeves and top loaders and all kinds of, if you need any of that, and they'll send those along with you. On the second sheet, if you don't know, like I submit a bunch of Pokemon cards for some friends, and some of them are in Japanese. I have no idea what to put for the description or the value or anything like that. So I kind of just do my best, and SGC, they know the card, so they're able to identify it and put it on the slab as appropriately. So you don't really have to worry about that. I know that was a big concern with, I'm going to put the wrong stuff down and it's going to be a mess. Same with the values. The values are mostly for insurance shipping it back to you or insurance shipping it to them. They just want to make sure everything's safe. If you want insurance, it's totally optional, but that's kind of the only reason the values are rubbing on there. So those aren't really a big deal if you don't know. So yeah, even if the form is not filled out to where you would be happy, usually the SGC people are going to know what to do, and they'll contact you if anything else.
Again, for the average collector or for the first time submitter, these kind of processes have been put in place through all the different grading companies and third parties like the Boca group here, to really make the process easier and pain-free for a lot of people and take a lot of that fear away, which I think is the biggest thing. Like for me, it was the biggest thing. It was like, oh, I'm going to send all these valuable cards out into nowhere. I don't know who's going to touch them. I don't know who's going to have them. I don't know if they're going to get damaged or lost or whatever. And that's still a fear. It's something that always is going to make you nervous. But I think the processes are in place now through services like these to I think relieve some of that pressure, some of that burden. I think, right? Would you say?
Yeah, and this group particularly has a Facebook page where a lot of people go on, hey, I'm looking this up for my first time, it's intimidating or scary, and then the comments come pouring in. Oh, I was in the same spot, I did it, and now I'm addicted to it. I love grading, it's a piece of cake. And a lot of people understand those feelings, and they'll kind of like talk you down from that ledge and get you to do it. Because yeah, once you do it, you realize how simple it is, and it can be pretty fun too, especially when you're kind of rooting for a grade and you get something higher than you expected, or vice versa, you can get your heart broken. But it's interesting drama.
Indeed. So now let's transition. We'll look at the 25 cards that I'm going to submit, and we'll walk through what these would look like and maybe what kind of grades I'm hoping for and expect to get. All right, folks, so here we are with the cards I'm going to grade. This is a little list I put together of the 25 cards here that I am submitting to SGC through the Boca group. And we're going to take a quick look at each one of these cards. And here I have the year, the manufacturer, the card number, the card description. And I have 2 columns here where I'm going to write in here the grade I expected to get and a hopeful grade. And Justin and I are going to look through these and kind of determine these really quickly. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this in order to keep this video somewhat short. But and then later when the reveal, we'll do the actual grade here. So let's put that off to the side, kick things off with, starting at the bottom here, the 1982 Topps Cal Ripken Jr. Future Stars Orioles card from 1982 Topps. One of two kind of iconic Cal Ripken Jr. rookies right there.
Yeah.
This one is Topps traded one. So that looks pretty sharp to me. Corners look great. What do you think? What do you think there, Justin?
Centering's fantastic. Yeah, the edges look great. The only flaw I could really see, maybe a little ding on the corner down there, and then on the back side, it looked like the bottom left corner had, or bottom right down
Yeah,
here.
it's got a nice little ding on there, so that is going to hurt on that a little bit. But I'm going to wager. I would hope to get maybe I think it's going to be a 3. What do you think?
I am a little more optimistic. I think it might get closer to a 5.5.
Okay, well, I'm going to say 4 for expected grade. We'll do 5 for hopeful grade. Do that.
It.
All right, let's move on to the 1980 Topps Ricky Henderson rookie card there. That's in really nice shape. Centering left to right is a little off, though, so I know we're going to get dinged on that for sure. Here's what the back looks like on that one. Pretty nice on the back. Even the centering looks pretty sharp on the back. A little top to bottom off, but what do you think about that one?
Yeah, very nice card. The back looks amazing. The front looks pretty good too. I would say
maybe a little bit of surface with it. Some of that could be on the actual one touch as well. But
I would say you would get a 7 for this card.
You think 7? I'm gonna go a little bit lower on the expected. I'm gonna say 6 on that one.
It's not surprising you being a Mets fan.
Hopeful on 7. Yeah, I gotta
temper it.
I sure have to hedge my bets from time to time. There's the 78 rookie shortstops. This is the Paul Molitor and Alan Trammell rookie card. This one to me looks in fantastic shape. And one thing you notice, a lot of these cards, this particular card always has a red ink spot on here, which I know dings the grade a little bit. Now there's a little bit of print distribution and stuff at the very top, but it's not as noticeable as what you usually see on this card. Here's what the back looks like. It's slightly off left to right, but pretty strong looking card there. Corners look pretty sharp.
Yeah, great card.
This one I'm going to say, I could wager this one getting, well, it does have a little ding there, so I'm going to say 6 on this one.
6. I think I'm a little more optimistic again. I would say a 7.
All right. Well, I'm going to say 6 for the expected, 7 for hopeful would be nice. So we'll see. 1975 George Brett rookie card. Now the 75s are notoriously tough because these always get super dinged corners, rough edges. There's a little bit of a print mark there. The corners are ever so slightly rounded at the bottom. The top left and bottom right one, the corners look pretty good. These corners are a little bit fuzzy. Here's what the back looks like. Pretty good centering on that. I'd be happy. I'm going to expect a 4 on this one. I'd be happy with a 5.
Yeah, I love the centering left to right. Looks good. A little heavy on the bottom, top to bottom centering, but I'd say a 5 there.
Okay. I'm going to 4 for expected, 5 for the hopeful there. Here's a big one, 1970. Actually, let me go, we won't do that one next. We'll do this one next. This, I don't have it in a one touch. This is a Dave Winfield rookie card from 1974. That to me looks super sharp. There is a little bit of a couple splotch marks here. I'm talking about super sharp on the corners.
Yeah.
The centering is mostly solid. It's a little off center left to right, but that looks pretty strong to me. I could see this getting a solid 6, although look at the back there. A little miscut on the back.
Yeah, you can see maybe the next card coming through.
Yeah, so maybe not so much, huh? Maybe that's a 4?
That's I'm very interested to see how that comes back. Great corners and edges. I'd say 5.
4? All right, 4 and 5. That's what we'll put down on there. Now we get into our very high value card here. Rookie third baseman Mike Schmidt rookie, 1973 Topps. Corners on this are a little bit dingy. I don't see any obvious creases or anything on it. Doesn't look too shabby at all. I'd be happy with a 3 on this. But what do you think? Think you could get higher than a 3?
I mean, the front color is amazing. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I would definitely say it's gonna grade better than a 3. I'd say a 4 at least.
4 at least? All right, well, we're gonna go with 3 on the expectation. Hopeful for a 4. If it gets higher than that, then that's all gravy, right?
Gravy.
Another 1973 Topps. This is a 1973 Topps Pete Rose. I pulled this out of a value pack. Some of you may have seen this in a previous episode, pulling the 73 Pete Rose. Pretty nice shape. Off center, certainly left to right, but corners look pretty nice and sharp there. A little bit of a print ding there, print error. Top right corner has a little bit of a ding. I don't know if you can see that there. I know my camera's not the best, folks, so you may not be able to see some of the same stuff we're seeing here. Back is pretty sharp. Sides are pretty sharp. I want to go 5 on this.
I mean, knowing that it came straight out of a pack and went into a one-touch kind of tells me there's not going to be a lot of issues that aren't seen.
I just do think the centering, they're going to ding us on that pretty heavily.
Yeah,
so
I think you'll get a 7.
You think 7?
I like that card.
I'm going to go 5 and 6 just to be safe here.
Keep it tempered.
Keep it tempered. If the reveals are definitely higher, then I'll be happy. 19. Actually, no. I'm sorry. I showed you the 71 Blyleven. We'll do that first. Then we'll go into the 72 that I have. There's 71 Blyleven. Now this is in great shape for a 71 because 71s are notorious for having horrible dings. The black border is really, really rough. There's a bit of a tiny, surface edge ding there, but the back looks sharp. I'm going to go as high as a 7 on this.
Yeah, I was going to say an 8, and you're right. Yeah, notoriously white chipping along the edges, and that is a really clean Blyleven card.
So I'm going to go 6 on the expected, but 7 on the hopeful, because I think it could get a 7. All right, now we're going to show you the other, if I can pull it off here without hitting anything on my camera. 1972 Rookie Stars Carlton Fisk rookie card. Now, obviously off-center, left to right, but this is one that I got through a neighbor gave me, actually. Obvious, corner ear, dog ear on the top right-hand side, but still, this is a card that I think could grade a solid 2.5 to 3, maybe.
Yeah, I was thinking SGC can be kind of tough on off-centered cards, and then the crease there. So yeah, I was thinking maybe a beautiful 3.
Okay, I'm gonna go 2 expected, 3 hopeful. Anything above that, gravy time. 1969 Rookie Stars, Rolly Fingers, another very, off center, left to right, little dinged corners. I do like this card though. I don't think it's going to grade super high, but I did want to have this one in an SGC slab. You can see it's off center, left to right on the back as well. I'm going to go 2.5 as my expected for that.
Wow. I'm going to go 4.
You think that's going to get a 4?
You are
optimistic.
That card looks amazing except for the centering, and I feel like I see examples like that get high grades.
All right, well, I put 4 as the hopeful there for that. Another 1969 Reggie Jackson rookie card. Not in the best shape. Certainly not going to grade super high or anything like that. Some corner dings, a little off center. It's slightly faded, maybe. I don't know. It's hard to tell. The back does look pretty sharp, but you can tell more on the back some of the corner dings that are there. I'd be happy with a 4 on this, but I don't think it's gonna get a 4. I'm gonna guess this gets a 3.
You might be right. The centering's amazing. Corners, little issues, but I would say that's gonna get a 4. It looks really nice.
All right, I'm gonna say 3, 4 for hopeful there. All right, moving on to one of my iconic cards of all time, the 1968 Rookie Stars, Jerry Koosman and Nolan Ryan. This card has been with me for a super long time. Corners are a little fuzzy. I don't expect it to get very high. I have a nice Tom Seaver and a PSA 3 that looks bad looks good. You can see there is a little bit of a crease there in the back corner, so I don't expect this to grade high at all. But I'd be happy with a 2. What do you think, Justin?
I would say that is a 3.5.
All right, so I'm going to go 2 for the expected. I will take Justin's 3.5 as our hopeful there. Another big ticket item here, 67 Topps Mickey Mantle, certainly off center, left to right. Dinged corners at the bottom, but Justin and I almost traded for this card recently, so we were more interested in seeing how it would grade first to see on this one. But the corners, I think there's some corner dings on it. I'd be happy with a 2. We were thinking you thought it was going to be closer to a 3, didn't you?
Definitely looking at it right now. I I would guess a 3 or a 4.
Okay. I'm going. I expect 2. If I get higher than a 2, I'll be happy. 2. You say well, 3 or 4. We'll split the difference. 3.5 for that one.
Nice.
Another Mickey Mantle. This one, a nicer one in my opinion, is a 1965 Mickey Mantle. Is a little bit off center, left to right, but the corners are not nearly as dinged like that. There's some dingage to the corners, especially the top right-hand one, if you can see it there. The back does look pretty sharp. I think this would be a 3, maybe even a 3.5. I could hope for a 4 on that, but I don't know. What do you think?
I like it. Looks really nice. I would say you're right in the 3 to 4 range.
All right. So I'm going to go 3 on the expected, 4 for the hopeful there. Ignore my terrible handwriting as I'm trying to do this quickly here. 1964 tops in the NL, Hank Aaron, Willie Mays. I love how sharp this card looks. The corners are really, really nice for a 64. There is some off center left to right. Great focus on the card. Not blurry at all. The back looks pretty nice. I'm going to say a 5 on this one.
I'm going to agree. Yeah, I thought 5 the entire time we were looking at it.
All right. Well, I'm going to go 5. Should I hit my best to go 4 and hope for 5? What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. That way, maybe we can at least win one of these if we're way off base on all of it. Here's another 64. It looks absolutely gorgeous. It's 64 Willie Mays. And the centering on this is pretty nice. Maybe a little off center top to bottom. Ever so slightly left to right, but corners are nice and sharp. I could see this getting a 5. Only for the back printing part where they might ding us really much on that.
Yeah, I'm wondering what they'll do about that. But yeah, I think you're in the 4 and 5 range,
Okay.
depending on how they grade that marking on the back.
Yeah, so because of that marking, I'm going to go 4 expected, 5 hopeful. All right, that leads us to another favorite card of mine. One that's very hard to acquire. 1963 Rookie Stars, Willie Stargell. This card is not in the best shape. It does have a little bit of a crease there at the top, but I think this is a minimal enough crease that I think it could still grade a solid 2. Maybe push 3. I highly doubt it's going to get 3 though. I'd be surprised if this got a 3, but I will take it in a tuxedo slab at a 2 for sure.
I think it might get a 3. I think you might squeak out a 3.
All right, well I'm going to go 2 and 3 for expected and hopeful. Let's move this down a little bit so you guys can see that. There we go. All right, moving on to a 1961 Topps Juan Marichal rookie card. I do love that card. It is really sharp on the corners. Super sharp. Obviously off center, both left to right and top to bottom for sure. But this is a card I'm fairly hopeful on. The back looks super sharp. The front looks super sharp. I'm going to go as high as a 5 here.
Yeah, I would say anywhere from 5. I could even see it getting a 7. It looks really sharp. The corners, don't touch them. You're going to cut your finger.
There you go. All right, so I'm going to go hopeful or, expected 5, hopeful 6. Just got the difference. Ron Santo rookie card, same year, 61 Topps coming in after that. Not as in great shape, but still pretty nice, solid corners. And the centering on this one is almost perfect. Top to bottom is a little off, I'd say. But really nice shape, no creases, pretty sharp corners. There's the back. You see there, that is on the case, I believe. Internal of the case, so that is pretty sharp. I'm going to go 4 on this. I could see a solid 4.
Yeah, Ron looks really nice here. I am going to say a 6.
6. All right. Well, I'm going to say 5 just to be safe. So 4 and 5. Justin is ever the optimist here. All right. And here's the 1959 Mickey Mantle. Obvious, dog-eared corners in a couple of these. But this has been a nice card that I've had in my collection for a while. I mostly just want to get this in a tuxedo slab, but I don't think it's going to grade any higher than a 2. It's got certainly some little mild creases there on both sides. The back does look pretty sharp though, but you can see a little bit more of the creasing there if you get close to it. I'm going to say, I'm actually going to go as low as 1.5 on this, but I'm I could see a 2.5.
Yeah, there were some hard to detect issues with the surface, but yeah, I think it'll do closer to 2.5.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. 1958 Topps Rival Fence Busters. Oh, I love this card so much. Just a cool card. Little bit of a corner ding on the top right, but the other three corners look really sharp. It's a pretty decent focus for that 1958 style card. Oops, you see there. Here's what the back looks like. It does have a little bit of a print mark there on that, or is that on the thing? That might be. Nope, that's on the card. So a little bit of a print mark there. I could see a solid 4 to 5 on this, maybe.
I was thinking 6 or 7.
Wow.
The centering looks really nice.
The centering is nice on that one, so that could be. I'm going to go low on this one. I'm going to go 4, hopeful 5. But Justin could be right on that one. They could get higher. 1955 Topps Harmon Killebrew rookie card. This one's not in the best shape. Dinged corners. But I think this could get as high. It doesn't have the obvious, flaws that the 59 Mantle had, although there's a tiny little crease and some dog-eared corners on the top. Back looks pretty solid. Can't really see any creasing bleeding through there. I'd be happy with a 2. Even a 2.5. This could push 3 territory.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I have a hard time believing that would get anything lower than a 3.
All right, so I'm going to go 2 and 3 for Harmon Killebrew. One of my favorite cards, and I got this in a way that it was affordable. It's a 1954 Ernie Banks rookie card. Now, at first glance, this looks amazing, but I will point out, looks like somebody at one point had taped this to something, so there is some tape residue at the very top. But aside from that, the corners are super sharp. This is the one I'm most excited about in terms of getting graded. I know it's not going to grade a 5 or a 6. But if I could get a 3 or a 4 on this, I'd be super happy. It's how much are they going to ding us on that tape, which I think could be a lot. So I'm going to go. The problem is the tape. 2.5 is my expected. It's how much they ding us on that tape.
Yeah, I'm kind of.
Actually, might even go 2. I'm going to go 2.
I'm going to go 3.
Okay, so 2 and 3 there. So put Ernie aside. 2 and 3. I'd love to get a 3 on that. That would make me super happy. All right, 2 more cards left. 1954 Ted Williams. This is not in a good shape at all. It's got looks like a little chunk, whatever. There's indent there. The centering left to right is not great. But this is one you and I talked about. You think this is in better shape than I think it's in. I think it's a little rough, to be honest with you. But I'm going to say a 1.5. You think it's higher than that, right?
Yeah, I think no less than a 2. If they're really hard on you with for those flaws you pointed out, than a 2. But if they're a little forgiving, I could see you getting higher than a 2. Even.
Really? All right. Well, I'm going to go 1.5 and 2. And finally, an off-topic, not baseball. We're going with our only other sports card. It's a 1970 Topps O.J. Simpson rookie card. Picked this up at a local card shop in Salem recently. Not in the best condition. I paid a whopping $50 for it, I think. So I know I maybe overpaid a little bit because these cards aren't super valuable. The corners are a little rough. But if I could get this in at least a 2, I'd be satisfied with it because I think it would, present nice in a 2. The back corner is pretty rough, but what do you think there?
I like it. I think it might get a 3.
You think it would get a 3?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to go 2 and 3 then. All right. 2 and 3. So there is our list. That's what we're looking at. I'll try and put it in the center there. You can see everything. So looks like the highest expectation we have is around a 6, or for the expected grade anyway. And our highest hopeful grade is a 7 for probably the 78 Molitor or the 71 Burt Blyleven. So we'll see what we do.
Yeah, good luck, and I hope we're wrong and everything's higher.
It's true. All right. And of course, folks, afterwards, just wanted to show you that I've transferred all these over to penny sleeves within semi-rigid card holders there. I've got my 25 cards here. Let me get all of them here. Got my 25 cards there, and what we're going to do is we're going to package them up kind of like this. So basically, just like this, a nice little brick of cards there in some bubble wrap. And for a little bit of extra protection, I'm going to get some cardboard, maybe pieces a little bit bigger than this, and we'll do this later offline. And basically put them between some cardboard, wrap some blue tape around them, and I'm going to put that in a box and ship it off. Also along in there, I'll be sending off my full list as well as my actual order form here, which I'm going to block out my information. That's what the order form looks like there. $475 for the 25 cards, and that is what I will be sending off. You can either pay in advance, or you can wait until they get the cards there at the Boca Group, and they will message you and say your cards have arrived, and apparently we'll send you a video showing that they have received the cards as well, and that payment is due if you haven't paid already. And that's basically it. So I'm going to ship these off soon here, and we're going to see what happens. So there you have it, folks. Those are the 25 cards that I'm submitting. That's the process in general. I can't thank Justin enough for walking me through this process. That's why I wanted to make this video today, to let you all know it's not that hard. It's not that scary. Yes, this is my first submission. I'm excited. I'm nervous. But I think it's going to be a good thing, and I'm looking forward to what the results are going to be. Justin, any last things to add?
No, I'm also excited for you, and congratulations on your first sub. I hope it goes really well, and I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of grades you get.
Well, thank you, sir. I'm definitely looking forward to myself. So thanks everybody for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. We do all kinds of cool videos. We're doing more unique things all the time on this channel. Love to have you stick around and see what's coming up next. Thanks everybody for watching.